Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second session for this QIP program. For this session, we are with us Professor Ashwini Kumar, who is the senior surgeon at Guru Angad Dev State Veterinary University. We have specifically requested Professor Ashwini Kumar, who is the extreme user for us for the 3D printed parts in orthopedic application. Her talk will be mainly focused on use of 3D printed parts and 4D printed parts in the orthopedic application in the surgical applications. May I request Professor Ashwini to please start his proceeding.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, I am grateful to Dr. Rupinder and Nitar for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts on emerging, which is used in medical practice as well as but there are not many reports on this 3D printing. Currently, our this orthopedic veterinary journal, which is international, and it is showing interest in this technology, and they are publishing a special issue on 3D printing in veterinary orthopedic applications. So this is one of the emerging area in veterinary patients, and I would like to share my thoughts on this issue. So before we start on the application of 3D printing in our veterinary patient, this is of the dog anatomy, and because most are from engineering side, and I think they will appreciate about the various regions of the animal body. Like there are in the front legs, there are humerus, radius, ulna. So this radius and ulna, they are the twin bones. Similarly, in the hind limb, there is a femur, and a tibia, fibula are similarly, they are the twin bones. Means these bones are joined together, and the disease of one bone, it affects the growth of the other bone. Similarly, there is the vertebral column is there. So I would be using these terms in this lecture, like lumbar vertebra and this cervical spine. Okay, then pelvic region. Pelvic region is very important, which is very complex from anatomical point of view. So this is the cut section of the long bone in a dog. This is typically a femur bone. On the right side, you can see the actual, this is the bone from the dead animal, which is cut to show about the internal structure of the bone. So you can well appreciate the bone is hollow from the center of the bone. Central region is hollow. This is known as diaphysis. On the left side, the regions have been marked as diaphysis, metaphysis. So the central portion is hollow, whereas the ends, they are the filled structure. They are like a spongy bone. Spongy, it's just like a honeycomb pattern, but not that soft as honeycomb. This is a hard, similarly a hard bone, but has a more porosity. It is more porous than the compact bone, than the central portion. So I am talking about the wall. The wall of the diaphysis, it is a compact. It is very thick. Thick in sense, it is very strong. It is compact. Compact is, you can well imagine, the compact is a strong structure, stronger than the end of the bone. discuss about some examples where we can use actually this technology, this 3D printing in our patients. So this is the current scenario, particularly written in black is the current scenario, what we are actually using in day-to-day practice, particularly in India or in Punjab. So basically the surgical planning or the surgical planning of any this is example of a fracture. What we use the clinical assessment of the patient. We actually examine the joints and bones. Then we do the X-ray. We use digital radiography to we use the inbuilt caliper. This is of great use for us. This is simple technology. This inbuilt calipers tells us about the thickness of the bone at various regions. Similarly, the hollow portion of the bone, which is known as medullary canal, which is the central portion of the bone, we can check the diameter of the bone. So based on it, we choose the implant. We use the pin, plate, or interlocking nail, depending upon the size of that medullary canal. Then, sometime if it is some complex surgery, then we use the cadavers. Cadavers means dead animals. Of course, they are the other animals which are dying and whose body is donated for education purpose. We use these animals for standardization of certain procedures. So, because of in India, particularly in veterinary patients, only a few institutes have CT scan or MRI scan. So this is a 3D or a cross-sectional imaging, which is more beneficial. This is facility belong to our institute also. Within may take 1 or 2 years. So this is the upcoming study, and it would be useful for surgical planning. Then 3D models and practicing on those we are lacking. Okay. Then patient-specific guided and implants. These are also the future of basically the veterinary practice in India. Even countries, these technologies use in animals. So then this is a typical example where we can use this 3D technology for printing of implants. So you look at the bone, this is bent. You can appreciate on the right side, even the left side, both the bones are not perfectly straight. They are curved on the length of the bone is curved. So because of this, the implant yellow line which I am showing on the left side. So because the pins, they are available as straight pins. So if I bring it is unlikely to engage this, more likely say. So I'm trying to engage the lower end of the fracture. Then what will be happening? My pin will be going close to the joint. So you can see the red arrow. The upper end of the red arrow is touching the head of the bone. Okay, so that may cause the complications. So because of this, we may think about the anatomically contoured implants. So right now, what we are doing, we have certain certain instruments using that we can bend the pin. But the bending of the implant using these instruments may weaken it, because bending may not be smooth. It will be sometime a sharp bend is there that weakens the implant. So if we can do the 3D printed anatomically contoured implants which are best fitting into the bone, they can be a more ideal thing. Another thing I want to add here is, when we are using anatomically contoured implant, then we cannot think of threaded implants, because for the placement of threaded implants, the project which we are taking up with Dr. Rupinder, then because those implants are inserted in a rotational by making rotational movements. So when the implant will be curved, so you cannot place it into the medullary canal using the rotatory movements. So you have to just hammer it. So those implants may be of some different configuration as per the need of the patient, and they should be only hammered. They are just pushed into the bone. Or these implants may be in the form of plates. So these plates are placed on the outer surface of the bone. They are not placed inside of the medullary canal. So it is feasible that the bone plates may be placed on the outer surface of the bone, and these anatomically contoured implants may be a good thing for the animal as well. So think about, then there is another example which is this is a different bone. This is the tibia. Here also you can appreciate that the tibia bone is curved. As you can see from the yellow line on the left side, the bone is curved. So if such fractures are treated with a straight implant, so those can irritate the upper joint. So these type of anatomically contoured implant may be created using 3D technology. So I think if when we are bending the implant, already prepared implant, we are bending it, so there are chances of weakening. But if we are making it in a certain predetermined configuration or a predetermined shape, those can be stronger implants. So then there is this is another case study where we are using arthrodesis. This arthrodesis is simply where the joints, when it is painful, when the joint is painful, we have two options. One is to get it replaced with new this thing, like a joint replacement surgery may be done, or it may be fused together. So particularly in animals, this is quite common, not in human patients. So this technology, this surgical intervention is done only on those joints which are less mobile, which have less movement. But with little movement, when these joints are painful, then this surgery is recommended, where we cut the joint surface, we destroy the joint surface which is causing the pain, then using the plate which is contoured, because we have to maintain our angle, we have to maintain which is for the joint. So what we do, we do using 3D or 4D or any technology that can lead to a better implant which are stronger also. But these will vary depending upon the joint. this is another area where we may manufacture the angle plates. Although angle plates are available commercially also, but they are having a fixed angle. They are just like a 60-degree or 70-degree angle, and in many situations we have to adjust. So if it is a patient specific, then it could be a better alternative. Then there is a scope of using bioabsorbable implants. Implants means anything with like a screw, it may be plate, it may be pin. So why it is, what is the justification for it is quite popular in medical practice, but in veterinary it is not that metal implants using. So this strength is many times, maybe more than 1,000 times better than the bone, actually bone, and particularly in young growing dogs, where material properties of bone are significantly less, are too less. So in those animals, metal implants they cause much damage than the benefit, and whereas the other polymer-based bioabsorbable implants, their strength is quite ideal. Then these bioabsorbable implants, they facilitate osteogenesis. How they facilitate osteogenesis? Because they prevent stress shielding. Another thing, because their strength is same as the bone, so they don't hinder the biomechanics of the bone. So that leads to osteogenesis. The bone is deposited quite fast in these animals. Then it is radiolucent. Radiolucent means the implant which is metallic one, because of the high density, the bone at the site of implant, it is not visible. The bone, region of the bone which is covered by the implant is not visible at the site of this implant. The implant will be quite good for the radiographic examination as well. And moreover, these implants may be combined with slow-releasing antibiotics, stem cells, or other bone-forming chemicals or elements, and even it will be better for open or contaminated fractures. And the most thing is, it will avoid the second surgery. And these advantages, I think, many of us are aware. But the major limitation, what I feel is the strength of the bioabsorbable implants, because what I have read from the literature as well, the bioabsorbable implants, they don't have much strength, and they don't sustain longer. Okay, so with the existing technologies, the materials may be altered, they can be altered, even metals may be added. Think of, depending upon our requirement, which will increase the mechanical strength as well as durability of the implant. Then these are the certain examples, like fracture in young dogs heal very fast. So these are the patients where the fracture is complete, like before surgery it was a complete fracture, it was healed nicely on day 20. So young growing dogs up to 4 months or 3.5 months may be quite ideal for these implants. Another advantage in young animal is the medullary canal. The space within the bone is quite larger as compared to adults. The medullary canal of young dogs is quite larger. So that means we can place bigger implants. Bigger means thicker. We can place the thicker implant. So thicker implant might have a better mechanical strength as compared to the thin implants. So these are the patients where we can use the bioabsorbable implants. So then there is another case study which is showing the fracture is there, but fracture fragments, the bone pieces are in near about alignment. They are appears to be as such fractures may heal without any aggressive surgical intervention. But in this case, what happened? This patient has been applied with bandage. This is a Robert Jones bandage. RJB has been applied, but the animal was not cooperative because so these are the weight-bearing bones. Animal usually use these limbs. This is unlike as compared to the human patients, where the young children they are allowed to sleep or allowed to lie down on the bed. So in this bandage did not work in this particular case. Then we have to do this surgery, and but it took quite longer time, 6 weeks to heal. Uh, this might be due to the fact that we attempted this fracture quite late. So when we try to place this pin, then we have to break everything which the body has formed to let it to heal the fracture. So during surgery, the everything is destroyed. So that's why it might have took the longer time. But if this implant is placed at the early stage, then it could have healed early. Okay, so this slide is showing that in spite of the severity of the fracture, intervention is invariably required. Then this is a phenomenon in this is a pin swallowing. This is a metallic implant placed bone. A young dog. So young dog, the bone heals, bone grows with the age. Basically, for the information, I want to tell that young dog it becomes adult at the age of 9 or 10 months. Although it varies up to maybe up to 12 months, 13 or 14 months in various breeds, but majority of the dogs they grow faster up to 9 months of age, 9 or 10 months of age. So if the case fracture dog has a fracture at the age of 4 months, and it will grow very fast. So by the time fracture heals, the bone growth is bone grows over the implant. So this is the swallowing of the first case. So these implants, then you cannot remove it. You cannot remove it, or you have to break the bone, or you have to create a tunnel. You have to drill through the bone, which will be very aggressive. So these implants they lie down throughout the life. So if it will be absorbable, then there is no such issue. It will dissolve with time. Then this is the another issue, which is the proximal migration of the pin. So this is basically in case of young dog, and when the pin is very smooth in the end, at the end. So we are trying to solve this issue using the threaded portion of the pin. But in this case, if this pin would be absorbable by the date 60, then pin will get absorbed. So there is no, there won't be any complication of a pin migration because the implant will be dissolved. Such problems may be solved by using this bioabsorbable implants, which may be 3D printed. I think the bioabsorbable plants will be better, and because it will be patient specific, the size, the anatomically contoured, and this 3D technology may be used for this purpose. This is again a sport finding why we should absorb, because this is a fracture. On the left side, this is before surgery. Then on day 60, the pin ends, they are irritating the joint surface. The pin ends are migrated distally. The pin is migrated distally, and it is these we have to remove. So why I'm showing it? Because there is controversial meant that the implants, they may not be removed. Okay, but when they are they cause pain, then these should be removed. But if you are planning to use this bioabsorbable implants, so this problem can be sorted out. Then there is a lot of scope of bioabsorbable implants, particularly for young dogs, periarticular fracture in young dogs. Periarticular means near to the temple or cremated fractures. Or in case of means fractures, the implants the active this antibiotic. So those so can't be probably absorbed in due course of time. I think this may be an area where can bones or mind plant with other rigid techniques to repair fractures. So this is an overview of the various type of fractures. So if you let this as seed like with alphabet, and being said, the complexity of the fracture is increasing. So the first one is a fracture or fissure fracture. Then in second or D, this is a complete fracture. The fracture configuration. You can see is decreasing as the complexity of the fracture is increasing, and this is very interesting. And I think this is one of the important decisive criteria why we use pain in certain fractures, plate in certain other type of fractures, or other various type of implants. How we choose. This is based on the. This is one of the criteria is inherent stability of the fracture. Means the as the like you can see the E where the fracture is oblique. Even if the fracture is reduced and little compression, axial compression is applied, and it is going to be again going to displace. Even in F, G, H and I, all type fractures, they are inherently unstable. They are inherently unstable. So this type of, so what we can do is, why I am showing this is, we can convert these inherently unstable fractures into stable one, and the gap created may be filled with 3D printed this okay, like this is a part of bone engine where this is the, we all know, you are from engineering background, I think everything is clear. This is interdisciplinary field with that combines to the cells, biomaterials, biochemical factor to create a bone scaffold. And scaffold is act as a structural, that is a structural support, and it also facilitates the cell attachment and proliferation. So that because that graft or that scaffold is a temporary arrangement so as to fill the gap, but later on the new bone formation has to take place. So the scaffold should be porous, should be of sufficient mechanical stability, so that by the time new bone formation is there, so it should provide mechanical support. So if we are using these scaffolds for bone, so these should be rigid one. The rigid bioscaffold is required to as an replacement to the bone loss. but they may be flexible if we are using for the joint surface. And various parameters are like porosity, pore size, which you would be aware. So various factors are required for the creation of the. So this is an example how we can do this. Okay, so this is a fracture. With the red, I am showing you the fracture fragments. So this is a all are unstable. The two slides on the left, two images on the left side. These represent the unstable configuration of the fracture. But we can remove these fragments. We can remove these fragments, and we can place a single scaffold, like in third and fourth. In third one, there still be some inherent instability may exist, but in the fourth slide, fourth book, you can cut as per the this bone can be repaired using any means, either using pin or plate or something. Means even when the fracture configuration is stable, like in the fourth image, like on the extreme right image, okay, these fractures may be stabilized even with a simple like a pin. Pin is a very unstable implant, but this can also work. But if we are using pin for the first or second image, which are on the left side, then pin will not work. Simple pin will not work. You have to use some more rigid, like a plate fixation. Okay, so this is just an idea where we can use the 3D printing technology to create a graft which may be patient specific or may not be patient specific. They may be just like a simple of various diameters, they may be there, and we can cut it. They may be sterilized, maybe substituted, maybe added with some stem cells or other things, and these may be replaced. So similarly, look at this example where the whole of the bone appears to be shattered. Majority of the bone appears to be shattered. Then, so this type of fracture repair require very rigid fixation. Very rigid means like a bone plate. Okay. Then do is we can remove all these fragments or may not remove. Means they may be displaced on the side. They may be, these fragments may be displaced on the side of the fracture, and this with a nice cap. Okay, this is just a thought. I thought it should be using this graph. They need to be evaluated whether the when enhanced when okay, whether the fracture repair as on the left side or using a different rate of different case use the 3D printing devices. Similarly, this is an example how we will use this was a comminuted, this is a very complex structure. We have cut the bone to, then we have discarded all these damaged bone pieces. Okay, but really doing crafts are available, commercially available. They are available in the market. They are biocompatible, of course. They are available and they are used as such. Okay, they are sterilized. They are used as per the patient needs, and this can be fixed like this, fixed like with a plate. Okay, So if we have these graft available for veterinary patient, these are not available particularly in India. We don't have such a facility. If we can create, and it will be a great thing. Then another area where this 3D print technology can help is creation of patient-specific implants as per the need, because we cannot make a, you look at the example of the various dog breeds. So dog breeds varies from even starting from 2 kg. The adult body weight of the dogs may vary from 2 kg to maybe up to 80 or 90 kg. So a lot of variation is there, and we cannot create lot of implant or like that. So this is the area where we can create like this is a case of basically bone tumor. This is a bone tumor, dog showing a swelling on the limb. This is a bone tumor, and these are the CT scans and X-rays where the bone you can appreciate on the C image, where the bone is eroded, bone is moth eaten. Okay, so these are the even E is a different view of the same bone. So this bone is lost. This bone is eaten up by the cancer. And in this case, in such cases, so using the 3D this CT scan, whatever procedure it is well known to you, or most of you are aware about what is 3D technology. I need not to repeat it. Based on the 3D, based on the CT scan or cross-sectional imaging data, software this can be processed. Then a model can be created, or there are virtual softwares they may be used. So we can decide, like on this, using these X-rays we can decide how much bone has to be sacrificed, how much bone need to be removed. So based on it we can create, like on the B, this implant has been created which is fitting as on the dog model. This is a dog this bone model. Bone model is printed in 3D, and this was found nice. Then this type of implant can be placed. This C is showing the during surgery images. Okay, so otherwise these implants as shown in B, no such implant is available in the market. If you recommend that I need this type of implant, so you have to customize, you have to print it as per the need of the this any individual. So these are patient specific implants. Okay, so then D and E, it is showing the implant has been placed, nicely in the patient, and these are the X-rays of the patient. So this type of thing is possible only with the 3D technology. Then there is another area where the this is a example of human patient where the arm has been amputated, arm has been removed surgically, because of this happens due to accident, trauma also. This happened due to some tumorous condition, due to many reasons are there. Then after amputation, then there is two type of prosthesis, prosthetic limbs or prosthetic hands. They are quite available in human patient. Two types they may be done. Like one can be fixed from the outside. Just whatever stump is left, whatever body part is left, fix to that. One is like stem. A implant can be fixed into the bone. So this implant is fixed into the bone, and it is of such material which joins with the bone itself. This is osteo-integrated. Integrated is included. It is like becomes a part of the body. So this type of can be done, and this stem, as shown in A, can be created as per the, can be prepared as per the patient needs, as per the stump left after the amputation. Okay, so then they on the right side image, it is showing the healed, surgically healed patient with the implant in place. So this stem, which is outside the bone, can be used to attach further processes. So it will be a better, more durable as compared to the processes which is applied over the over the arm. Okay, so this type of may be helpful using this 3D technology also, particularly for the creation of patient specific implants. Then there is another example where we can use the this 3D printing is this is a horse having damaged hoof. In this case, what happened is the hard core of the hoof, it is lost. It came out from the body and it is lost, and it is exposing the raw surface of the internal structures, including bone. There is bone in the hoof, like we have bone under the nail in our arm, in our finger. There is a bone inside. Similarly, in horse or in any animal, under the hoof there is a bone. So this is because of the loss of that hard that hoof, the bone is exposed. So if we can so what we do in this case is we make a shoe from the any local market. We try to take some measurement. We say, okay, make some shoe and do it dressing, antiseptic dressing. All the medications are done, and this hoof grows time. It takes about 6 to 9 months to regrow. It regrows, takes longer time, but it regrows. So if you can create a better 3D printed, better fitting shoes, that can be another for that. But it will be a temporary arrangement for that, or it can be something which can be fitted over the hoof, so that that implant or that assembly should not interfere with the growth which is taking place underneath it. Okay, so this otherwise such cases have poor prognosis. Then there is another example, like this is a hoof. On the left side you can see it is a cross section of the hoof. Hoof is cut. The cut section is a line diagram. Cut section of the hoof. The hoof has a bone. Okay, hoof has a bone. So this bone is known as third phalanx or coffin bone. And there is another small is marked as shown because there are limitations because of who fall, not that easy surgery, but it is done based on the some CT scan guided screw is placed. This is being in the developed countries, but but we can better plan these surgeries if we can create a 3D model of these, and then we can we can decide from where to insert the screw, how long screw is placed, what should be the direction. So this can be possible. This can be possible using 3D printing, modeling, and this thing. Then this type of, like here also there is a factor of, this is third phalanx. Look at, so for placement of the screw as shown on the right side, you have to cut through the hoof. So that cutting is depends upon because you cannot cut whole of the hoof wall, otherwise it will be very painful. So you have to cut from a specific area, from the specific side from where you want to insert the screw. So these surgeries can be planned more precisely, more accurately if we use the 3D printed model is there, and we can practice on those models, and then we can decide from where to insert the screw. Okay. Then there are a couple of studies, like there is a study which used, like this is a very recent paper published in veterinary animals. Nowadays 3D technologies are very highlighted, this particularly in orthopedics. So where they have used the fracture of the they have used the cadaveric foot. Okay, then they have done the CT scan, they have created the model, then they have tried to place, then they try to check the accuracy using this. How we can, is it better? Then they found that yes, it is. This technology is beneficial. Maybe in future, so such technology should be encouraged. Okay. Then this is the another area where we can work on 3D printing. This is hip dysplasia. Hip dysplasia, particularly if somebody has kept the Labrador or very large breed dog like German Shepherd, they might be knowing that hip dysplasia is a quite common in larger breed dogs, particularly Labrador. And what happens in this? If you look at on the right, on the left side, the hip joint, there are the pelvic bones, and then there is a femur head. It is not fitting properly. It is loose. So what we done do today right now, what we are doing, what is the current practice? This is a double pelvic or triple pelvic of osteotomy. We cut the pelvic bones. Our intention is, as you can see on the right side, the the joint is better fitting as compared to on the left side. On the right side image showing, which is a after surgery, the joint is better fitting. The hip, the femur head and acetabulum is showing the better fitting. So what we do is we make a cut, we manipulate the bone a little bit so that the angle of the bones may be moved in such a direction so that the joint should fit better. Okay, you can check the plate, how the plate is applied. Plate is not straight, although the bone was straight, but the cut is made, then fragments are manipulated so that the joint is better fitting. Then the plate in the form of step is placed. This is a step plate. A bent plate is there. Okay, so but this, how much step has to be created? So that is depends upon the degree of abnormalities. What currently we are doing is we are using whatever is available in the market. So we have to just adjust. Okay, a little bit adjustment is there. So if these cases, the 3D printed model is there, or using some virtual softwares where we can make a cut, where the bones may be manipulated, and then we can decide, then as per the need we can print the bone plates, then the result outcome may be a better as compared to the existing thing. So this is quite common. At Gadwasu we are getting about maybe about more than 150 or 200 cases of hip dysplasia. This is quite common condition worldwide. Then this is an example from the human this journal where this is a pelvic bone fracture. This is a pelvis bone is fractured, And they have created, I need not to explain this because this will be very complicated. So they have created a similarly the bone model has been created, which is on the left side. So then they can do a planning. So this is actually on the patient. They have used it and they have found it a better result because that is very, the pelvic bones are very complex anatomy is there, and if you know then what to do during surgery, then it will, the procedure will be faster also, and it will be a more accurate as well. Then there is another paper which is a veterinary specific paper, and this is also a recent paper which highlights patient specific 3D printed drill guides in the placement of cranial canine coxofemoral toggle pin. So what is it? I would like to explain that this is a like a hip. This is a hip joint which is found by pelvic bones and the femur head. Okay. So what happens many a time due to trauma, there is a dislocation. This joint alignment is disturbed. The femur head, which is shown as green, is comes out of the acetabulum, which is as a yellow. Okay, so their alignment is disturbed. So what we do is, we on the right side there is a toggle pin fixation. This is a surgical technique which is done, and and uh, currently the surgery is very exhaustive. We have to because in the pelvic bone there are very heavy muscles are there. We need to cut those. We check actually the examine the femur head. Then we find the place from where the drilling should be done so that this type of assembly can be placed. Okay, but this paper highlights that if we can use this using the DICOM images of the patient, we can plan using the virtual models or actual this models. We can plan it nicely, and some patient specific drill guides. Drill guides means, so the guide which is placed before drilling. So a tunnel is created, like on the right side you can see a tunnel is created through which the thread with some implant is placed and tied down. It is tightened so that it should not come out. It is fixed. So this type of pre-operative planning may be possible using this 3D printing. Then another area where we can use the 3D is activities. These are the developmental deformities. These are the four-leg dog. Bones are bent from the upper end. They stops growing, another bone continues to grow. That's why there is a bend is created. The bones, they are like a deformity is created. So there is a altered gait type of is there. So it looks very sometimes very painful also, but it is a serious problem in growing dogs. So what we can do in such cases, we can same technology may be used, 3D printed bone models may be created, or using software like we can plan from where to cut, how much to cut, some guides are created based on the order. They are the so instead of have to after cutting the separated bones, then we cut the he is reduced to and will be a quick method and the guide which has created softwares using the repositioning guide the like the this is the software. The left side one is virtual and the point uh, but and literally also, or sometimes it is very twisted. So such type of osteotomy means cutting of the bone is it is simple cut the piece. So if we can create those models and we how and can these are created and called a bone plate created after cutting the after removing the excessive bone, the plate is fixed, and this is the area which may be using this. Then this is the during surgery. They are showing the how the this at the angle the piece is removed. Then so these pins are used as a the tool that guide helps in the to be cut. And before the surgery the all the comparatively these are the ACA whereas BNPR and how the surgeon we home then should we and other is should be how are the opposite in that emerging the in
हेलो सर आपकी आवाज़ टूट रही है. Your voice is breaking in between. I request you to be a bit more louder and clearer, sir.
Okay, I will try. My voice is cutting in between. Check the connection.
Now it is fine, sir. Please continue. Now when you were speaking, it was fine.
Thank you. Okay. So now there is another paper which is where the spinal surgery is being planned, on the 3D models. This is an example of in dog, and they are using certain guides. Basically, what is the problem in spinal surgery is when we place the screw, then that screw may enter the spinal cord. So if it enters the spinal cord, which is in the central portion, as you can see in the A, The white central portion, it is a part showing the spinal cord. Spinal cord is a nervous tissue. It is the mechanism that controls all the movements, that like a communication system, that is the communication system of the body. So the walls of the vertebrae, they are very small. So little misdirection can lead to entering of the screw into the spinal cord. So based on the same, based on if we have models, then we can create specific guides. Guides means you are creating a certain assemblies having hole which is fitting on the external vertebra. Okay, then through which we can drill a hole and we can place the screw. So this type of practice they are showing on like on the dorsal side as well as on the ventral side on the models, that how they are deciding what should be the direction of the screw, and based on it they are creating the patient specific guides. Okay, so these guides, like this is a printed model on the right side, they are using it like a red, they are showing the guides, they are using it, practicing it, then they are placing the screw. So this type of guides cannot be universal. You have to create it as per the need, as per the shape or size of the vertebrae. So this is like they have placed the screw and they have found that the accuracy of correct placement of screw is more than 94%. Whereas conventionally it is around 80 or 85%. So the accuracy may be increased. That is the outcome will be better if we can use. So this is only possible using the 3D print technology. Then yesterday, this is not just to make a advertisement of certain person or technique. This is I want to show you is in medical practice this technology is being used quite common. This is based in Ludhiana. Some doctor is a orthopedic surgeon. It is using a robotic arm to for creating this. It is using during surgery also, and for creating the patient specific implants as well. So this type of technology is quite common, but this technology, I hope it is imported technology, and we can create similar one for the veterinary patients as well. So I want to sum up with certain there is a this is a emerging technology, and we have a lot of scope. Like it can be a deformity corrections, we can use it. Limb sparing surgery, as I shown you the example where the bone was it was lost. It was a like having a tumor, and the part of the bone is removed. The limb is spared by using some grafts. Okay, then pelvic or spinal fractures, which are quite complex to treat. This thing maybe dislocations of the may be treated nicely if we are using the 3D printing technology. Reconstruction of large bone defects. Okay, as I shown you, the multiple fragmented fractures may be treated comparatively nicely. Then the 3D printed patient specific joint replacement prosthesis. This is one of the maybe more useful in human patients and also in the veterinary patient, because this is a expensive surgery in India. A very few people afford it, but this type of maybe feasible if we have the standardized protocol, if we have the if we know the technique and it is easily available. Then a lot of scope is there. Teaching, then we can create bone models. This simple using bone model of different materials, and we can use it them as a teaching aid. Different type of fracture may be created. This is like a teaching or a practicing, like a young professional may be trained using 3D printed bone models. Okay. Then surgical planning, because the otherwise the surgeon is only looking at the images only 2D images, and if you have actually the bone model, then you can the surgical planning can be comparatively better. Bone or joint deformity can be assessed, like I have shown you the bending of the limbs. This is deformities like that can be, the surgery can be planned. Printing of anatomically contoured best fitting implants is also possible. Then customized implants may be done based on the patient needs, and depending upon the strength, size, because I told you the body weight of the dog, it varies a lot from even up to 90 kg. So this is the area where we can use the patient specific implants. But there are certain limitations and challenges associated with this, majority of the institute CT scan and MRI. This is the but hopefully in the coming maybe 5 to 10 years, most of the colleges will have this facility. Gadwasu will have maybe next 2 years, hopefully. Then cost of hardware, software, trained manpower, and material costs is another challenge or other limitation, uh, particularly for veterinary patients. And very few people will afford this technology, and so the patient-specific individual items may be created. So this is a limitation because the commercial production, commercial mass production is may not be possible when this technology is used, because every patient has specific needs, and there cannot be universal this materials, universal implants. 3D printed item, it will be time consuming because you need data, you CT scan, MRI data, 3D cross-sectional imaging data is required. Then that data will be processed in a computer-aided design, then some virtual, even then comes the role of the surgeon as well, because he will decide, he will help you how he want, what he want to do and how it should be done. Then planning, further planning like osteotomy guides or repositioning guides or implant may be designed, then printed. So it may take, if it is quite fast, in the literature it is said it takes about 24 hours. Means even if the facility is dedicated, it is working 12 hours, it will take 2 days. This is another challenge. Then emergency situations, it may not be possible because it will be will take some more time to create the these implants. And mechanical strength is another issue, where they, because we will be using the materials which are not same as the actual tissues, so they may the practicing on models may not be same as the actual result will be obtained on the tissues. So with these words, I would like to thanks the organizers and the knitter and the Gadwasu also for sparing me for this lecture, and for the all the participants. I am highly grateful. Thanks a lot. Over to Dr. Rupinder.
Thank you, Professor, for this nice talk. Dear participants, now the panel is open for discussion. We can raise some queries if you want the input from the surgeon side for application in 3D printing. Anybody can unmute and can raise some queries if you want.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Neha. I want to ask which kind of imaging technique is best suited for the study of biopsy of the organs.
Yes. For the biopsy of the organ, it depends upon from which organ you are taking the biopsy. Like if when we are taking the biopsy of the liver, spleen, or kidney, then ultrasonography is used. But nowadays, CT scan is invariably used for taking biopsy of even bones also. So there is a guide is created, virtually some mechanism is there that leads to you that defines the lesion, and this CT scan is quite commonly used for particularly for the hard bones. For soft tissues, ultrasonography is also used.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any other query by any other participant, please? You can unmute and can raise your query. Okay, sir, I have one query. We are interested in
Yes, sir.
combining metal parts with some bioprinted parts. Do we have some studies at international or national level where people have done this, the development of some using some biogels on a metal printed part or otherwise metallic part to be used for some veterinary applications?
No, sir, no such. In veterinary fields, are very limited studies are done, and this is quite a new area. I could not find even exhaustive use of 3D or various these metal implants. Very limited studies are there. I don't think there is such studies.
Okay, there is one query by the participant. Could we produce the tooth using 3D printing?
What, sir?
So this is in the chat box. Some question is there. Can we have some 3D printing of tooth? I think that is common.
Yeah, it's a replacement, no, sir?
Yeah. So you can directly ask Dr. Kiran. You can directly ask the question.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you.
Let me.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please
Hello.
raise your query.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Actually, I wanted to know whether we could replace the broken teeth of the individuals using the 3D printing technology. For example, do we have the same strength and the other reports which could produce a replica of the tooth that had got broken or that is to be replaced?
Yes, it is possible. Only thing is we need to understand that how the tooth is held in the mouth. Okay, so tooth has some root which is embedded, which is held by some soft tissues, and it is embedded in the bone. Okay, so if we have tooth is there, then we need how will we be attaching that tooth into the bone? Then we can create some root like in the form of implant. It may be like a threaded screw. Okay, using it, we will make a drill. We will fix it by rotatory movements or by any means. So that tooth may be fixed into the bone. Yes, this is possible.
Okay, but this has not been so far in the market right now, right, sir?
Yes, it is even in medical practice. It is a new area. Yes.
Yes, sir. No much research has been carried out in this particular field.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
So there is another query in the chat box.
Yes, please.
I think, sir, this query is regarding what is scaffold.
What is scaffold, sir? Yes, sir.
Yes, scaffold is the like a replica of bone, like a tissue, which we like a graft, if there is some lost tissue, like a bone or any other organ, and we want to fill that gap using some means. So we have to use some scaffold or graft. Is a replica of a material which will be having biologically stable, and it will provide sufficient strength to the lost tissue. Okay, I think the bone scaffold or graft, these are the synonymous. Is that
Right, sir.
clear?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. I think, sir, there are no more queries. Let us thank the speaker for this wonderful talk. Professor Ashwini from the Little Chandigarh side, we are really thankful to you for sparing your time. And okay, there is one more question now. They are asking about, I suppose, composition of human bone and animal are same or different.
It is almost similar. It's the strength wise. Basically if you look at the dimensions, the human height is 6 feet or 5.5 feet. The animal dog having only 2 feet or so. So the dimensions vary. Even the strength of the bone, because the bone is an isotropic structure, and strength is created itself with time. The persons who are exercising have a more stronger bones, as who do not. So depending upon these factors, the composition, the otherwise composition will be almost similar, but the strength wise the cortex will be thicker, the other thing will become stronger as per the need. Okay, so I don't say but the strength wise the human bones will be more stronger than the dog, what I feel.
I think, sir, that's sufficient for the discussion now. Professor Ashwini, we are really thankful from the Little Chandigarh side for sparing your valuable time for this discussion. Dear participants, now with this we are taking a break for our session. Now the third session will be at 2:30. Please be join as per the schedule. Please be there. Thank you, Professor, for sparing your wonderful time.
Thank
Thanks
you,
all.
sir. Thank you.